Alright, so how many of you struggled in any way from this shutdown? Yeah, we got people that struggle. Well, guess what? I struggled too. And it got me thinking, why are these people in office? How did they get there? What can we do as U.S. citizens to change the way everything is going? Because let me tell you, I haven't been too impressed these past few years. So I have to think about it. It's like, well, where does it all start? Well, we've put them in office. How did that happen? So I want to know, our vote counts, right? So let's see. The right to vote. Who has the right to vote? Well, you have to be a citizen of the United States. That's in the First Amendment. In the 26th Amendment, it says you have to be 18 years of age, which is good, because I don't want, 2-year-olds voting for somebody. Females, woohoo! We got our right to vote in the 19th Amendment. And race. Regardless of your race, as long as you meet the other criteria, you're able to vote. That was the 15th Amendment. So regardless of our race and gender, as long as we are 18 years of age and we are a U.S. citizen, we can vote. Simple. So let's go to, when do we vote? Alright, well, I know I vote for the president and the vice president. Well, that happens every 4 years. We vote on a president and vice president. On the ballot, they're separate. So even if you like this president, but this other guy's vice president, you can vote for him that way. Well, congressional elections, which is the House and Senate, we vote every 2 years to either re-elect or elect somebody new. Now, we do all the House of Representatives, which is 458 people. We do those every 2 years. Now, the Senate, we split up into 6 years. Every 2 years, we'll vote on a third. The second third, the last third. So it takes 6 years. Now, we have different parties, which makes up who we vote for and who we don't vote for. We got the Democrats, the Republicans. We got independent parties and minor parties in general. So now we know who votes and now we know when we vote. What happens when we vote? So finally now I'm able to vote. I go and register. What happens? How do I go about this? Well, we're going to stick with the president right now. Every 4 years, we have the right, as long as we're registered, to go and vote for who we believe should be in office. Which candidate that was chosen should lead this country. So we go, get in the booth, check our marks. All right, I want this one and this one. After that, everybody votes. There's a deadline. All right, this is who voted, this is the results. Everybody all over the country. It doesn't go. It doesn't go, all right, 4 billion people chose this guy and 3 more billion chose this guy. No, it actually goes by state. We have what's called an electors college, and I'll get into that in the next slide. But our votes from each state goes to the electors of each state, and they make a decision for us. When they decide, the president then is chosen and instated as our president. He serves 4 years and possibly another 4 if we re-elect him. So, let's jump to how these people are chosen. How are the presidents chosen? We're going to stay away from congressmen for right now. Well, Article 2 of our Constitution states that the president has to have lived 14 years in the U.S. He has to be a U.S. citizen, and he has to be 35 years of age. Now, these are just the simple requirements. These are the ones that you can look at somebody and know, hey, with these credentials, he is able to be president. But is he? President isn't something that just any Joe Schmo goes and does. No, you have to be able to handle the hardships. You have to make the decisions that is better for the people. So choosing a president is not as easy as we think. But in general, as long as they can run the campaign, they can handle the stresses, and the party is okay with it, then they will become a presidential candidate. So the Electoral College. What I told you about our votes. Our votes don't go popular vote from the whole United States in. No. The Electoral College are people who are elected as our electors. The same amount of congressmen, so House of Representatives, Senate, all those congressmen, we have the same amount in our electoral college. For example, California, they have 55 congressmen between the Senate and the House of Representatives. Well, they also have 55 electors for the college. Kansas, 4. So now you understand, we vote these people into office. We vote these people to be our electors. Now, we'll just simple it down. 100 people choose President A, 50 people choose President B. These votes come in, the electors look at the results and they're like, well, everybody seems to like President A. So they cast their ballot, all of them, all 55 for California, all 4 for Kansas. They cast it for President A. They don't necessarily need to do that. They can actually choose President B. Did you know that? Now, it is called a faithless elector. It's an elector that goes against the people's vote of the state. They can do that, but they can also be fined for it, since it is considered faithless. Now, what they'll do is they'll convene all these people, and they'll decide, our state liked this president and this vice president. They'll send in the results. So we'll have a majority. These states and their electors wanted A, and these states and these electors wanted B. So the decision will come down to that. What happens with ties? Has it even ever happened? Yes, it has. That's happened 3 times in our history. What will happen is the electors' college votes will be sent in and they'll be counted for. Now, if they don't have 270 or more, it ends up in a tie, or they'll lose. So what we have is the House. The House of Representatives will choose the president in a tie. The Senate will choose the vice president. Now, just an example here, we have in 1800, President Thomas Jefferson was voted by the House to be president because it was a tie between the Electoral College. We have John Quincy Adams elected as president in 1824 by the House, and the Senate voted Vice President Richard Johnson in at 1836. So now that we know how it goes, the whole election, how the Electoral College goes, we understand it a little bit better. What I want to say though is, why? If we're a democracy and the people vote, why are our votes belittled down? Why are they shrunk? Why don't we have a bigger say? Because the thing is if there's more people in California, that means that they get more votes. Well, Californians, they live on one side of the country, we live on the other. Well, what about when we want something done? Do our votes count less because we have less people, we have less electors in the college? I think that we should go back and scratch out this electors college. I think that we should have the right. Every single person's vote should count, because right now it's not. It's just a general, well, the people tend to like this president more. And just because this state has more population than this one, doesn't make it fair. I think every person should have the right to vote for the president and vice president, and that each person should have their vote go towards who they want. I don't think it should be belittled down, shrunken, and bigger states get better votes. So all in all, I want you to think about it next time you go to vote, and you think, well, this electoral college isn't going to do anything. I want you to go and vote, because right now this is the best we have. And maybe in the future, you guys can vote for a bill to get passed that the Constitution be changed and everybody's vote counts. I am all for popular majority. Thank you.